Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans.
Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Ryan.
This is Jake.
This is Flerick.
And Flerick, I believe you need to introduce...
What's my name, sir?
I believe we have Yokozuna Mac once
Why,
again
thank you.
gracing us with his presence on the review episode.
That is correct. So as you can tell immediately, Flerick lost the prediction series, and Mac obviously won. But the more important news is the Yusho winner, and that is Mitake Yumi winning his first ever Yusho. We do have a bit of something we should mention right off the top. If Jake or Mac sound like they're not fully into this right now, it's partly because they had a very arduous race obstacle course that they did yesterday. Also, Mac is currently wolfing down a corn dog.
I'm hungry.
And I wish I was dead.
Yeah. But back to the results of the Nagoya Basho. Like I said, Mitake Yumi won his first ever Yusho, 13-2 record. Should have been 14-1. June Yusho.
We'll get to that.
Whoa.
A little salty there, Ryan.
I'm still mad about that. The June Yusho went to Yutakeyama. Quite a big bounce back Basho for him after he got knocked around at Maegashira 2 or 3 last time. But bounced back, got a 12-3 record, took out Mitake Yumi on the last day, got the June Yusho. Special prizes, as you would expect. Mitake Yumi raked in a couple there. He got the Gino Show Technique Prize, and he also got the Shukun Show Outstanding Performance Prize. His second Gino Show and his third Outstanding Performance.
My doubling down method paid off.
It very much did. Mitake Yumi.
Single-handedly won the thing for Mac here.
Exactly.
Indeed.
And we did have a couple of Kanto Show Fighting Spirit prizes. Second one for Asanoyama. He had an 11-4 record. Very good showing for him. And Yutakeyama, the aforementioned Jun Yusho winner, getting his first Kanto Show. But let's dive into Mitake Yumi and how impressive he looked in his first Yusho win.
I think it's super impressive, obviously, but there's always going to be that asterisk of all the injured top guys in this one.
Yeah, I think it's impossible to avoid that. But even regardless, he's someone who's been doing really. He's always been one of the more consistent Rikishi. I think why I first was starting paying attention to him is when he was at the Sekiwake rank for a very long time, getting that 9-6, 8-7, 9-6, 9-6 over and over again. He was just consistently getting kashikoshis in the Sanyaku ranks.
Yeah, I think we looked it up during our year-end review show, but in 2017, he was the only wrestler in all of the top division to get winning records every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but he's been Sekiwake for. Yeah, he dropped down to Komusubi for the previous Basho, but that was it. Other than that, he's been Sekiwake for more than a year now.
Mm-hmm. Never getting that double-digit wins in the ranks, but he finally was able to pull it off.
Yeah, certainly helped that he didn't have a couple of those losses. A couple of the guys who gave him those losses were, dealing with their own stuff.
Yep. Kakuryu Hakuho obviously out since day 3, so Mitake Yumi didn't have a chance to see if he could beat them. He looked like he was in fine shape. He probably would have been able to take out one or both of them if he had the opportunity. He did go 1-1 against the Ozeki, and
technically,
yes.
So he did beat an Ozeki, but Mitake Yumi he's only been around for about 3 years now. Started in March of 2015. He was one of those guys that came from university, was inserted right into Makushita. He was there for 2 Basho, 6-1 record, both Basho, and then his third Basho, he was a Sekitori, or in the top 2 ranks, and he won the Juryo Yusho in his third ever Basho.
Super impressive.
Yeah. He then remained in Juryo for only 1 more Basho, so 2 total Basho in Juryo. So his 5th career Basho was in the Makuuchi division, and he was around the Maegashira 10, the lower Maegashira for a little while, and then he had a couple of good Bashos, made it to Maegashira 1, bounced back there, and then he hit Komusubi, bounced back one more time, and that was at January 2017 was the last time he was out of the Sanyaku ranks. So it's been a year and a half straight for him in the Sanyaku ranks.
Impressive career so far.
Yeah, I count 4 Makekoshis in his career. That's awesome. That's and like you said, it's all been in the top division here. So
Yeah.
that consistency is the main thing that I think is driving him forward and really proving that he's got potential. He doesn't he doesn't have bashos where he's reverting to the mean and having a rough time. He's always just a little bit above 500 up until this one, obviously, where he just crushed it.
But there is something to be said looking at his record. The second week illusion there, kind of like Goedo, it seems like a majority of his losses in his career have happened in the second half of whatever basho he's in. Now, you look a little before that, back into 16 when he first started, it was the reverse. He did not start off as strong.
Yeah, I think that might be just because of matchups, because of the ranks that he's at. When you're one of the Sekiwaki, you're not getting your hard matches against the Ozekis and Yokozuna until the end. But if you're a Komusubi or if you're an upper Megashira, you might get all those hard matches right at the beginning. So that might be part of it. I mean, we're looking at a table with all his wins and losses, and you can kind of see how it just gradually shifts from the beginning to the end of the tournaments. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think this basho was the first time that we really saw Mitaki Yumi put it, obviously, all together for an entire basho. It was 15 straight days of fantastic sumo. Even his 2 losses were very close. Pretty much both guys touching down at the same time, just a hair's breadth away from him winning either of those. So it's really the first time we didn't see him falter at any point, which kind of gets you excited for the future. Could he possibly be the next Ozeki in the next basho or two? What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I think he's definitely the next Ozeki.
I think he's got a lot of potential. I think we still need to see a little bit more consistency from him, but the potential is definitely still there.
Consistency at above 8 wins.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
And do you guys think that he was 9-6 at Komusubi in the last basho? Do you think that should count as his Ozeki run? Because he would be at 22 wins the past 2 bashos. But, Flarek, what do you think?
I was going to say we got some news from the NHK. The Shimpan Onomatsu declared that he is on the Ozeki run for now.
So
they are counting that 9.
They are
Nice.
counting that 9-6. I was wondering because he didn't have any wins over Yokozuna or an Ozeki in that last one.
Yeah, they're concerned about that too. They said like I can't. I got a quote from Onomatsu said I cannot say how many wins will be enough. Rather than the number of wins, the quality of his sumo against Yokozuna will be more important.
Okay, so they're just
So-
going to be...
Well, let's hope that he's got some Yokozuna to wrestle
Yeah.
against.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's kind of the hope. That's kind of a good question. If we don't have Yokozuna again, like, do you just like?
I don't
no.
think you can hold that against him if he
I don't think you
performs
can
the
either.
same way.
Yeah.
As long as he beats one of the Ozeki, if
Or
he...
both.
Yeah, or both. If he
There's
has,
3 of them.
Oh my God!
Oh,
you're right.
you're right. Oh,
I forgot.
Tochinoshin.
I forgot
I'm
about
so sorry.
Tochinoshin.
That can be forgiven because there's soon to be 4.
Yeah, but for Mitaki Yumi, if there's no I assume there's going to be a Yokozuna for him to go up against. I think this kind of freak accident, but if he doesn't beat any Yokozuna or Ozeki, but otherwise puts together like 10-5, I don't think that's going to be enough.
No, I think he has to just to get to 33. He has to have like 11, right?
Yeah, 11. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So he needs at least 11.
Yeah.
More than that will probably help.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and wins over the Ozeki and the Yokozuna, definitely. If you can secure that plus 11 or better, I think definite contention for promotion.
And we know he's capable of it. He has 2 Kinboshi in his career. We've seen him take out Hakuho when Hakuho was 14-1 in a basho. Saw Mitaki Yumi give him his only loss. So we definitely know Mitaki Yumi is capable of taking out the Yokozuna, especially if he's going to be wrestling like he did this basho. But we do want to move on to another big storyline of this basho is all of the injuries. So even before the basho started, we had Kisei no Sato. Yokozuna obviously pulled out for his 3rd or 4th straight basho in a row where he didn't enter any matches. Sokokurai down in Juryo before the basho. But then on day 4, Hakuho pulled out due to some injury he sustained in the dressing room. Kakuryu pulled out on day 6 after elbow injury flared up. And then you had the run of Tamawashi victims. Tochinoshin.
His wake of destruction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tochinoshin on day 7, he injured his toe. Sounds like there's a torn ligament a little bit. And then Koto Shogiku pulled out day 11. He got an injured elbow from like a Kotanage throw, I believe it was. And Koto Shogiku flew into the crowd and took out some poor old lady.
Yeah, he went for a ride. And yeah, I heard there were multiple fatalities for sure.
Chiyo no Kuni, probably the nastiest looking one that you saw day 13 against Tamawashi. Another throw, Kotanage looking type throw, and then Chiyo no Kuni just kind of grabbed his elbow and crumbled
Instantly after the throw, like, oh dang, that wasn't good.
Throw wouldn't have knocked him over if if his arm was okay. It wasn't a throw that would have like thrown him to the ground. He was clearly going down because of the injury, the pain.
Yeah. And then, just for good measure, Chiyo Shoma on day 15 pulled out. Sounds like he had a toe injury. And Flerick was telling us earlier, it sounds like that ends his streak of 498 consecutive matches.
Yeah, that's he definitely stuck out for a long time.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's pretty serious.
Mm-hmm. And we've alluded to this a little bit before. Actually, before we get to that, what are your guys' thought on all of the injuries in this Basho and how that affected your enjoyment of the Basho?
I think it was a plus and a minus. Obviously, you want to see the top guys, especially guys that we really like, guys on a hot streak like Tochinoshin. But it did kind of contribute to it being more of a wide open Basho. Mm-hmm. Like you could see Takayasu wasn't doing great, even though he was sticking in. Goedo and Mitakeumi were looking like they could both be in the hunt, and there were also some other guys that were still, when it's a weird one like this, there could be anybody in the hunt as long as you only have a couple.
And Yutakayama were pushing for a while.
And they only had a couple losses near the beginning. So, yeah, it was fun in that it felt like it was wide open and could have been anybody's tournament.
Mm-hmm. See, for me, seeing the Kotanage, just with all of its devastating effects, I understand it's a legal sumo move. I understand that it can cause a lot of stress and a lot of strain on the elbow. But when you take out that many wrestlers with the same move, you got to either change up your style or improve your form, because obviously you're causing some major injuries to these guys.
It's like getting henked by Ishiura. I mean, it's going to happen. You just don't give Tamawashi your elbow anymore. Just keep your arms in, try and push him, don't go for the grapple or something. I don't know.
But other than that, I don't have any major complaints of this Basho other than Mitakeumi and Takayasu. But we'll touch on that a little bit later.
Sorry, go ahead, Flerick.
Oh, go right ahead.
I was just going to say, when you're talking about Tamawashi like needing to change his style of sumo, I would disagree with that. It's a completely legal move, and I think it's not like he has a history in past Bashos, as far as I know, of taking guys out with a Kotanage throw. It's just kind of a freak coincidence that it all happened so close together in this Basho. And obviously, Kotanage has been around for hundreds of years. If there was a huge issue with it, it would have been gone.
Yeah, maybe not a huge issue, but there has definitely been a lot of elbow injuries by the Kotanage. I think the old Ozeki Kaio has been brought up a lot by causing
really?
a lot of issues with that back in the day.
Yeah, okay. Didn't you tell us the phrase Kaio Nage was what people called it at one point?
I don't remember saying that one, but that sounds pretty clever.
Well,
Jake heard it from somewhere.
I heard it from somewhere, and usually that comes from Flerick.
Yeah. Reddit or something like that, maybe.
So yeah, it's definitely a deadly move. Like, I know the Yokozuna Deliberation Council has told like the Yokozuna to kind of stop doing some moves. Do you think that's kind of the place for? Do you talk about other Rikishi, or is that just kind of Yokozuna?
I think they're telling Hakuho don't slap as much, don't do the forearm shiver as much. Kotanage is different. Kotanage is an official kimarite. That's one of the 82 official ways to win a match. I think that's different than slapping the piss out of somebody or knocking them silly with a forearm shiver.
I know there's an official word called harite for a slap. Isn't it official?
But it's different than a kimarite.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Kotanage is something that you come across in the grappling exchange. It's not something that you set out to do to somebody. I mean, there may be guys that go for it more often or something like that, but it's something that you come across in the process of grappling. So it's not necessarily something you can just stop doing, I guess. I don't like it, and it makes me upset that it injures people, but I think it's in the same boat as the henka. It's something that you have to account for, and
it's there.
Yeah, it changes the metagame a little bit, that of what each guy has to pay attention to as they're going about their wrestling. But That doesn't mean I have to like it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. One of the beauties of sumo is like actually the very small amount of moves, rules and moves you can't do for the most part.
Basically,
So,
anything goes.
yeah, which is probably not the best for the competitors, but for the spectator, it's fantastic.
I think my opinion on it is we've been watching for almost 2 years now. Aki 2016 was the first time we really started paying attention. So Aki 2018 will be the start of our 3rd year. But this is really the first time I think any of us have really noticed the kote nage as a possibly injury-prone kimarite that can be performed. So I think, like I said before, I think it's kind of a freak accident. We don't want to overreact to one basho's results.
Yeah, a little bit of a coincidence, but I think a lot of it was kind of that visceral reaction to, Chinokuni, who's, he's awesome. You just broke him. Why would you do that? That's horrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a little bit of reactionary bias on our end, but at the same time, it's there, but I don't have to like it.
Speaking of reactionary, I got pretty angry after the Mitakeyumi Takayasu match, day 10, 11-ish. Don't really remember. But it was a match that Mitakeyumi, I think he pushed Takayasu out, and then Takayasu kind of spun and was pushing Mitakeyumi out, but Takayasu's toe, very clearly to us at least, seemed to graze the outside of the dohyo, just a feather before Mitakeyumi's foot slammed down. And the Gyoji initially pointed to Goombay for Takayasu, immediately regretted it, and pointed it towards Mitakeyumi. And so Mitakeyumi was the official winner. They immediately called for a mono-e, and after the video review, they called it a Takayasu win. And so just to start off with, that's just...
What the hell?
Yeah.
You clearly saw dirt fly up from where Takayasu's toe hit the clay.
It's not like Tochi Noshin a couple of bashos ago where he faced Takayasu. And we were wondering, did his heel touch the outside? It's really hard to tell. Let's take a look at the dirt. Can you see if the dirt moved around at all? This one, Takayasu's toe clearly hit because when he moved it away, there was a of dirt that came out afterwards.
I think Kakuryu had something like that too, where dirt from his heel flew up, and they just reeled it. Oh no, that was already stuck to his heel when he went out of the ring, or something like that.
No, I think that one was legit not in the ring. I remember going all CSI on that one.
No, I remember that. but
we break out the electron microscope.
But that wasn't the case for this one. You could clearly see it.
I entirely agree. It was clear cut.
Yeah, it can be close, but still clear.
Yeah.
Like it was very, very close, and with no instant replay, we never would have known.
Yeah,
but
with
still...
instant replay and with the rule for a Tori Naoshi rematch, where if it is too close to call, you just have them do it again,
which they did several other times during this basho.
Miyagiryu versus Endo is one where they had a Tori Naoshi. I don't know why you would give it. You would reverse the decision and give it to Takayasu when A, it looked like Takayasu was out first, and B, if that's not the case, it's too close to call, so you have to do it again. So that's just, it's either incompetence or something we'll get to in a moment.
Yeah, I think part of me and Ryan in particular, our outrage comes from the video review in American football.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because
you make the call on the field, and unless there's evidence to overturn it,
indisputable evidence.
Right. You need proof to overturn it. You can't you give the benefit of the doubt to the original call. Mm-hmm. And when the original call was already correct in our opinions, changing the outcome was just egregious. From our point of view, with what we're used to and what the sports that we watch and whatnot, it just seemed like so blatantly incorrect.
Yeah, and so I took to Twitter immediately after I watched the results on whatever morning that was before I went into work, because I was just watching it by myself and I'm like, this is wrong, right? And so
it's not just me, right?
Yeah, so I went to Twitter to make sure I wasn't missing something for why they would call it for Takayasu, and everybody's like, oh, no, that clearly seemed like Mitakeyumi should have won. And then our buddy Bruce at Tachiai, they had an article saying, 3 possible reasons or 3 possible results from the replay.
Reasons, yeah.
So you give it to Mitakeyumi because he won, and that's what the evidence shows. Or, the second scenario was give the win to Takayasu, make the guys that Mitakayumi already faced. Not Mitakayumi already faced. Sorry, the guys that were closest to Mitakayumi had already lost their matches. So if Mitakayumi loses this, it's not that big of a deal because he still has his 2-match buffer. It gets Takayasu his Kachikoshi, and it's for the betterment of sumo. And that really made me angry.
Yeah, that irked. Irked us.
For the record, Tachi, I didn't say that's what happened.
Exactly.
But it was a hypothetical, a potential reasoning put forward.
Yeah, we're not saying that's what happened at all. I do lean more towards incompetence is what actually happened. But the fact that could be brought up as a possible scenario, I think, is very troubling. That somebody that's been watching sumo a lot longer than we have, who knows more about everything sumo than we do, would say that this is a possibility that they would make this decision based on these facts is very troubling, because I don't want the organization telling me that something happened that clearly did not happen. And I just think, I hate this term so much, but I do think it is a slippery slope for how far can they take it. Because I like my rules black and white. Mitakayumi won that. You call it, doesn't matter how close it was, because if you just allow them to switch it this one time, this little change, what's to stop you from the next time to go a little bit further, I'm not saying that's ever going to happen. That's just a really troubling thing if that's what started, especially on the heels of 2011 when you had your Rikishi fixing matches. Once again, not saying they're fixing anything. This is a whole whirlwind of circumstances that could even allow this to happen. It's just something that would, if we saw more of it, would really make me question why I would watch this.
Absolutely, and I'm sure everybody will be watching out for any other questionable calls like that. But yeah, I mean, when it's clear cut, when for us, for everybody watching, when it's clear cut,
and let's be clear, we have seen a couple people say we can't tell if Takayasu's toe was down before Mitakayumi's
yeah, it's
foot.
not universal, it's not unanimous. I mean, it's unanimous at this table.
Yes,
but
it's pretty unanimous that it should have been a rematch. But I also heard they didn't call a rematch because they were going long on the day, and that's another thing that pisses me off.
Yeah, another thing of sacrifice, potentially sacrificing the integrity of the sport for other
outside reasons.
Yeah. I completely agree. It's a slippery slope, and everybody will be watching out for this kind of thing in the future.
Yeah. So we've been mentioning Takayasu quite a bit here. He and Goedo were both Kadoban going into this basho. Both of those guys were able to get their Kachikoshi, maintain their Ozeki status. Unfortunately, table favorite Tochinoshin got that injury that we mentioned before and will be Kadoban going into the next basho. What are your guys' expectations for the current Ozeki moving forward?
I think they're going to probably continue being Ozeki. I would say Tochinoshin was doing pretty well before he got his injury. So I think as long as his toe is in okay shape, I think he can easily get a Kachikoshi and get rid of that Kadoban status. Takayasu was a little worrying because he definitely looked very iffy. And if that Mitakayumi match went the other way, he would actually be a Sekiwaki right now.
Mm-hmm.
He did end up 9-6, so he did end up getting one more. So
so never mind about that.
But we don't know how, if he would have lost, could that have affected his mental state? Could that have had other ramifications that we now will not know? So you don't know.
Yeah, right. You're right. But the issue is he definitely looked very, very shaky. He's kind of looked pretty shaky the last couple of bashos.
Yeah, he had pulled out the entire basho before this, and then prior to that, he had the 2-12-3 Junyu show. Mm-hmm. So definitely, I think that injury is still affecting him here.
I definitely do too. It seems to be something that's kind of lingering, and so he's the biggest question mark of all the Ozeki kind of coming into Aki.
I think it was kind of interesting how different he looked day to day. There were some days where he just crushed the other guy, and it was like, oh, well, he seems okay. And then, the next day he would be walking gingerly after, what didn't seem like that intense of a match or something.
I think it was the Kaisei match where he landed on the Tawara.
Yep.
That one he looked like he might need the giant wheelchair or something.
Yeah.
But then, and then he looks great and crushes some other guy. And then on day 15, he just kind of stands up straight and lets Goedo just ram him out of the dohyo.
So it looked like on day 15 he knew Goedo was going to charge right into him, because when Goedo's on, that's what Goedo does. It's when Goedo starts doing the pulling bull crap that he starts faltering. So he looked like he expected that from Goedo and wanted to like do some sort of head throw, like grab his head and
He
throw
looked
him.
like he was setting up for like some sort of hip toss or something, but he didn't
Yeah.
like get enough to the side or whatever to get any leverage.
Yeah,
To me,
exactly.
it just looked silly. I remember on Kentama Yama's video, he mentioned that it looked like Takayasu couldn't decide what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think it was a combination of he didn't have the athleticism to pull off whatever it was he was trying to do for sure. Whether it's legs, he had that shoulder injury recently, whatever it is, it was just so weird to see him do so well on one day and just look like he's falling apart the next.
Yeah, and Goedo getting, I think, only his second double-digit win total since he's Zensho Yusho back in Aki of 2016.
Talk a little bit slower so I can get to the stats.
But yeah, Goedo ended up 10-5 for this Basho. Takayasu ended up 9-6, as we discussed, and Tochinoshin pulled out after day 7 with a 5-1 record where he competed.
Good recollection though. That's exactly it. He got that 15-0 forever ago, and then since then he had one Jun Yusho with 11 wins, and this is his only other double digit.
Okay, yeah. So it looks like once a year, usually at around the summertime. So he likes the heat. So don't expect any double-digit win totals for Goedo until at least next July.
Oh yeah, yep. As is tradition.
And another notable thing about this Basho is how good all the young guns looked in this one. Of the guys who got 10 wins, only 2 of them, Tochiozan and Goedo, are in their 30s. You had, obviously, Mitake Yumi, 25 years old, 13 wins in the Yusho, leading the pack here. Takakeisho at Maegashira 3, only 21 years old in that 10-5 record. And before we move on, I talked to Jake a little bit before this episode, but I want to get Mac and Flarrick's opinion. What do you guys think of Takakeisho's unique sumo? He kind of does that like hand slap down thing and then waits for his opponents to kind of come at him.
It's a really reactive form, and I think it works with different types of Rikishi and their styles, but it can also bite him because he's waiting for them to either charge at him or come at him with their hands strong for like a Oshidashi pushing attack. But if he gets a grappler and he fails to knock him off balance, he's done. Because then they can get a good Mawashi grip, at least on the outside or underneath, and then they can just handle him however they want. But he does have powerful enough legs that he can just kind of hop around the ring like a frog.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It seems to be effective for the most part. He's gotten some pretty good wins. It seems to be an evolution of like an Oshi style of pushing. They just kind of get the arms out of the way. And maybe that's because his arms aren't as long as other people. Maybe that's the strategy choice he decided to go with.
Yeah, I think it's very similar to like a counterpuncher in boxing. You know, letting the other guy lead and then reacting in a way that gets, turns the exchange in your favor. And yeah, he just kind of he gives space, and nobody else gives space, whether they're pushing or even if somebody's moving to the side. Nobody else like intentionally goes backwards and leaves space between them and their opponent, except for Takakeisho.
Yeah, I think it can throw off the opponents too.
Yeah, and there were a couple matches that I think were really cool where he did that, and the other guy looked a little bit confused. And then they just kind of clashed and backed up and clashed and backed up and like developed this rhythm. And then was that Chiyo Tairyu? He did this a couple times and then changed it up and just sent him to the ground.
Yeah, he just did a sidestep instead of meeting Chiyo Tairyu, and Chiyo Tairyu pretty easily went down to the ground.
Right, just landing that counter punch after teaching your opponent what to expect.
Yeah.
I think that was really, really cool.
Yeah, I like that style a lot, kind of doing some mix-ups with your style, try to get advantage.
Very unique. Interested to see. This is the first Basho where I've seen him do it consistently, so I'd be interested to see if he continues to use that moving forward.
You remember that epic match he had against Hakuho
Yep.
a few
that was
few
great.
tournaments ago?
Yep.
That was the same sort of style, and it's the same thing that he's been doing in the past, but yeah, it definitely seems like he's mastered the technique enough to do it regularly.
Yeah.
Especially when Hakuho's beckoning him forward, like, come on.
Yeah, God, that
Come on.
was so cool.
Bring it on.
Moving on with some of the other young guys, obviously we hit on Yutakayama. He's only 24 years old, got the Jun Yusho, 12 wins this time. I thought he looked phenomenal.
That's what I was going to say. I think he's been like low-key doing really well this whole like past year or so, and this is the first time like he's really kind of stepped out and showed like how good he is against the top guys.
Yeah, I think he had 11-4 back in Haru, but this is the best I've seen him look. And for comparison, 10-5 back in Haru. But Chio no Kuni was 12-3 at a similar rank in the last Basho. He was Maegashira 11. Didn't stand out to me at all. Yutaka Yama looked a very, very strong 12-3, like a guy that's going to be around for a while at the upper ranks. Chio no Kuni, I mean, you got 12-3, good job, but it just didn't look the same as Yutaka Yama's.
2 of those wins were Fusion show wins.
Well, I'm talking about the last Basho.
Oh, the last Basho?
Yeah, Chino Kuni did really well last Basho, but yeah, I think what I was going to say though is Yutaka Yama's like he's like a full size wrestler. Chino Kuni's definitely a fun size wrestler. He's
by
not
Richie standards.
by Richie standards.
Okay.
I mean, the poor guy. He's like barely 300 pounds or something. But yeah, he's definitely one of the more slender guys. I couldn't even say that with a straight face. But like he's more speed and whatnot. And I think a lot of those 12 wins that he got last time were speedy and not necessarily ones where he was in control the whole time. It's kind of like when Ishiura does really well. It's not necessarily because he's the bigger, stronger guy, obviously. So there's trickery involved, but Yutaka Yama wrestled like somebody who could potentially be an Ozeki one day, somebody who has the full size and the full strength and everything, and also is now putting together his technique properly.
He's definitely one I'm going to be watching very closely in the next Basho, as I expect his rank to jump quite a bit, so he will be facing those top guys. Onosho made his triumphant re-debut in the Makuuchi division, got the Onosho special 10-5. He's only 22 years old. Asanoyama, 24 years old, 11-4, got his second Fighting Spirit prize. And the best news of all, Hokuto Fuji, 26 years old, got 11-4 record, looked dominant, had the powerful foot stomp at the beginning of every
Yeah. Blatant favoritism from Ryan.
He's
but
an M16, Ryan. Come on.
Yeah, and he's going to be like M9 or 8 next time because he was 11-4.
And then he's going to face real challengers.
Yeah, he's done it before.
He's done it before. Yeah, I think he is back. And
Okay,
if
fine.
he would have done any less than this, I would have been disappointed.
He's got
I think.
4 Kinboshi, Max, so you can back right the hell off.
How many of those were consecutive?
They were in 4 consecutive Basho.
Wow.
Against each current Yokozuna and a former Yokozuna, Haruma Fuji.
That is such a cool fun fact. We just need to
India.
wait a little bit in between and then,
Wait 3 or 4 years.
and then bring that one back up.
Abi, he's got 2 in a row. He might be in position again, depending on how far he falls. There we go.
Attaboy.
I'll throw myself on the Hokuto Fuji fan train. Like he impressed me this Basho. I like that guy. I want him to do well.
So out of these 6 guys that I named, who do you think will have the best career? Let's take Takayumi out of it, winning his first U show.
Now that he has a U show, he's in a different league. Yeah.
Takakeisho, Yutakayama, Onosho, Asanoyama, Hokuto Fuji. Who has the best career?
I'm going to go with Takakeisho. Mostly because he's Onosho. I like that guy a lot, but he's kind of he already has an injury, so kind of the injury kind of makes me wonder if he's going to be injury prone or not going forward. Takakeisho seems to be able to keep healthy and get standard, consistently good winning records. I think he's probably going to have a pretty good career going forward. A nice long career.
See, for me, I have to go with Asanoyama. He was a guy that initially I didn't consider when he appeared on the scene. I thought, all right, we'll give this guy a shot, but he's consistently shown improvement in a lot of different areas. His technique's been improving against all of his matches, so I'm really looking forward to seeing where he can go.
And after Asanoyama's first Basho in Makuuchi, when he got that 10-5 record, that's when I believe Hakuho said, or one of the Yokozuna said he wrestles like a top level guy, and they specifically trained with him the Basho afterwards. So definitely high praise for Asanoyama. How about you there, Jake?
I am pretty split. I think Onosho has shown the highest highs, but also obviously with that injury, the lowest lows of this group. But Hokuto Fuji, I think I'm also a huge fan of his, just not quite as blatant and obvious about it as Ryan. But yeah, I think he might be the guy that I see going the furthest. He's also obviously got the coolest name out of that group.
Yeah, Hokuto Mount Fuji clearly is going to be the guy to watch going forward. But if I were to say anybody besides him, I was super impressed with Yutakayama this Basho. I really wanted to see him do good, and he's rocketed up my favorite ranks with this Basho. But let's move on to see what happened in all the other divisions. In Juryo, we had Takanoya win in a playoff over Takanosho. Both guys ended up with a 13-2 record. Takanoya bookending his basho with losses. Started with a loss and ended with a loss, but ended up getting that win in the playoff. In the Makushita Yusho winner, we had Hakuyozan. The Sandanme Yusho winner was Kagamiyo. The Jonidan Yusho winner was Rao. And the Jonokuchi Yusho winner was Tsushida. But
I don't think I know any of those guys.
I don't know why
outside
we
of Juryo.
would. Yeah, I don't know why we would.
It's always impressive because Makushita and below, to win that, you basically have to go 7-0.
Yeah, and all of those guys were 7-0.
Yeah, that was. I mean, so anybody who wins one of those, obviously, that's a sign of good things to come.
Mm-hmm. And in Juryo, we had a familiar name kind of bounce back a little bit. Amanishiki had a 9-6 record at Juryo 4. Kind of
Old man Amnishki?
Yeah, kind of surprising. I don't know about everybody because I didn't hear what people thought about him, but I know last Basho was like, is it time for him to hang it up?
He looked awful last Basho.
That is
he did
correct.
Look bad.
Yeah, no sugarcoating there. It was bad.
Yeah, he looked like Yoshikaze last Basho.
Ouch, that's low.
Yoshikaze's hurt. We understand. It was just, come on. On the other hand, Takekaze, old fella that's in Juryo, he did not have a good record. I think he was 4-11 at the top Juryo spot. So
Yeah,
he has
that's
another.
rough.
He has another one like that, and possibly drop down to Makushita. I think it might be time for Takekaze to hang it up.
I would not. Well, we'll see. Like he's talked about before, he said as long as he thinks he's doing good sumo, he's going to stick around.
Okay.
After this Basho, if he gets dropped down to Makushita ranks, whether or not he still thinks he's doing good sumo, that's
I don't
kind of the
know how
question.
you could think you were.
Well, it's kind of a personal thing. We'll kind of find out.
Yeah. Another guy that we've seen in the Makuuchi division a little bit, Dayamami. He was in the Makuuchi division, I think, last Basho, but he struggled a little bit, 6-9 record, so we won't be seeing him coming back up. Some of our favorites that we follow in the...
before,
go ahead.
Before we move on Omnishiki, he actually broke a record this Basho.
What'd he do?
He takes the 8th place in the career win charts, and he relegated the Great Taiho to 9th place.
More wins than Taiho. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe that's in the Sekitori rings with that one. So,
Okay.
Or maybe no, that's career wins. So including all
Either
Makushita
way,
and Juryo.
being above Taiho on any list of good things in sumo is something.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter how long it took you to get there.
400 years in this case. No, well, yeah, I did think though that he may have a spark or two left in him because I only saw a couple of his matches, but he could really move at least.
He could step to the
occasionally.
side with the best of them.
Yeah, certainly better than we've seen him do recently. So I don't know. It may be just the case of being healthier than he has been recently.
Yeah, maybe he's doing the Hako thing of one Basho on, one Basho off for the most part.
Take a vacation every
Well,
other.
Hakuho's had basically 4 Bashos off. I mean, he had the 11-4 last Basho, but he was Kyujo the other 3 so far this year. So, but let's follow up with our other favorites down in the lower divisions. In Makushita, we had Musashi Kuni going 3-4. He should stay in Makushita though. Fall down a little bit down there. Enho at Makushita 2, 5-2. So we should be seeing Enho back in the Juryo ranks in the next Basho.
He got his ass handed to him on a silver platter last time he was here.
Yes. So we'll see if he can do a little bit better this time. I assume he would. And then down in Sandanme, we had Waka Ichiro, 4-3, getting his first winning record.
USA.
His first winning record at the Sandanme rank. And we also had Naya and Hoshoryu both going 6-1. So could possibly be seeing those guys up in Makushita in the next Basho. Don't really know how that ranking works, so we will find out.
There can be a lot of big swings in those lower divisions for sure. But those guys, this was this their second or their third Basho? I think it's their second.
I think it's a third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Not including Mizuno.
Jonokuchi, Jonidan, Sandanme.
There you go. Yep. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I mean they're rocketing up the ranks. I think they both only have 2 career losses at this point and like 20-ish wins.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those guys are
We'll
going
show her with a
places.
few more because Naya beat him like 2 times in a row.
Yeah.
But-
Either way though, they both show a lot of promise, and if you're in the news when you're in those lower divisions, it's probably because there's something to you.
Yep, and we have a Ura update, 0-7, as he sat out the Basho in Sandanme, so he might end up down in Jonidan in the next Basho, but it does sound like he will be participating in the next Basho. So look for the Ura train to just start running through the lower divisions, and I assume we'll see him back in the Makuuchi division.
Hopefully soon.
Kyushu. Let's say Kyushu. Let's say he takes him 2 Bashos. That's how good he's going to be. I have faith.
I don't think that's how that works.
Fingers crossed.
He gets a
anyway.
15-0 from Jondi then.
Exactly.
yeah,
Just,
he
just
gets,
give me another bout. I can do
I'll
2.
just do 2 today. Yeah, whatever.
All right. I think that is going to wrap up the first half of this podcast. When we come back, we're going to highlight what we think the Bansuke is going to look like for Aki, get some more in-depth prediction results, fun facts, fantasy, all of that fun stuff. What would you do if there was a rikishi right in front of you, sitting, surrounded by empty chanko bowls, crying because all of his food is gone? It's difficult to watch, but our hearts tell us we must do something to help. What if all you had to do was empty your bank account and pull out $500 to make this rikishi a little more happy and a little less hungry? Chiyomaru is that rikishi. This is that moment. Go online or call and join GSB with your $15,000 monthly gift. You'll be giving chanko, sushi, and beer to this giant man who doesn't really need it. It's only $500 a day, and it means you'll give Chiyomaru a small amount of food at the cost of filing for bankruptcy. Please, go online or call now, because Chiyomaru's wavering smile cannot wait another moment. Welcome back. This is the time of the episode where I go through what I think the Bansuke is going to look like in the next Basho.
And the rest of us try to stay awake.
Yep. So, once again, obviously at Yokozuna, Kakuryu, Hakuho, Kisei no Sato. Hopefully Kisei no Sato, actually not hopefully, it sounds like Kisei no Sato, there will be some form of action from him in Aki or he is out the door. Ozeki, we've got Goedo and Takayasu maintaining their rank. Tochinoshin is Kadoban and will be fighting to maintain his rank at the next Basho. Sekiwake, Ichinojo, then Mitake Yumi. Since Ichinojo did end up having a winning record, he will still stay ahead of Mitake Yumi on the Bansuke. Komosubi, we've got Tamawashi, and then our first guy that's going to tumble out of the Sanyaku ranks, Shohozan, was 3-12.
Ouch.
Yeah. And so I believe Taka Keisho at Maegashira 3 with a 10-5 record will jump in there ahead of Ikioi, who was 8-7 at Maegashira 2. But I do believe Ikioi will be Maegashira 1 along with Kaisei, who jumps up from Maegashira 4 or 5, who had a 9-6 record. Maegashira 2, Chiyo Tairyu. He was 9-6 at Maegashira 6. And then I have Yutake Yama for Maegashira 9 with that 12-3 Junyu show is going to jump up to Maegashira 2.
That's a pretty big jump.
It is a pretty big jump. Not as big as Chiyo no Kuni, who was Maegashira 11 in the last Basho, was 12-3 and jumped all the way up to Maegashira 2.
Oh, I gotcha. So there's plenty of precedence.
Oh, yeah. And Maegashira 3, I'm going to have Endo jump up 3 spots for Maegashira 6 just for a lack of other people to jump up and take those spots. Also going to have Shodai 6-9 at Maegashira 1. I don't think he's going to fall down too far, so I'm going to have him at Maegashira 3. I think the case could easily be made for him to fall down to Maegashira 4 and have someone like Oh No Show take that final spot.
So those are the guys who are going to be hoping and praying for Yokozunas to still be feeling off.
Correct.
Yeah.
Those
Otherwise, those are the ranks where those guys are going to get their asses kicked.
Yeah, those are the top 16, the joy that you would expect to face the Yokozuna. Some of the biggest jumpers that we have in this, I have Hokuto Fuji jumping 8 spots. I got him from Maegashira 16 up to Maegashira 8. And then Yutakayama, Onosho, and Asanoyama. In my breakdown, I have each of them jumping up 7 spots because they all had 12-3, 11-4, and 10-5 records. Merit a big jump. Biggest fallers, I have Yoshikaze as he was 2-13.
Owie.
Yeah.
I got him dropping all the way from Maegashira 5 to Maegashira 15, 10 spots. That might be a bit far, but we'll see what happens. I also have Shohozan dropping 7 to Maegashira 7 from Komosubi with that 3-12. Would have had him drop more, but last time Endo was 3-12 from the same spot, and he only dropped out of Maegashira 6.
Part of that was injury, though, right? Do you think
it was
is that
injury.
weighted exactly the same? You think? I don't know. I wonder if that's exactly the same as a loss or if it's slightly less.
We'll see.
I believe so. It usually is.
It'd be good to keep an eye on it, see how far Shohozan actually goes down.
Yeah.
Keep a hold of your phone there, Ryan.
No can do. And then I also have Chiyoshima and Chiyomaru both dropping 6 spots, as Chiyoshima's 4-11 and Chiyomaru was 5-10.
But that still keeps our spirit animal in the top division.
Yay!
Yes, I have him just barely scrapping by at Maegashira 16, the lowest Makuuchi rank.
I don't know what we would do without Chiyomaru.
We'd probably move on. Find
Yeah.
a spirit animal.
Probably
but,
pretty quickly, but
there'd be a period there where we were just totally flabbergasted.
we would have at
inconsolable.
least a few weeks of like a subpar meme game without a Chiyomaru there for us.
Sad Maru, not Chiyo Maru. Sad Maru.
I do have 3 guys jumping up from the Juryo ranks. I have Takanoiwa and Takanosho. Both of those guys were at 13 and 2. I have Takanoiwa jumping up to Maegashira 12 and Takanosho Maegashira 13. And then Koto Yuki was also either 11 and 4 or 10 and 5. And 10 and 5 it looks like, and I have him jumping up to Maegashira 14. That obviously means we're going to be saying goodbye to a few guys, and luckily it's guys for the most part that we just got to know, so it's not going to be a hard goodbye. So Meisei and Koto...
Oh, you're saying they're expendable?
Yeah, exactly.
Koto Eko, I hardly knew yet.
Yeah, Meisei, Koto Ueko, we saw you for one basho. Maybe we'll see you again, but it certainly won't be the next one.
Yeah.
And Arawashi, actually, with 5 and 10
Yeah, that actually
at
Bad day,
Maegashira
bad day.
12.
I'm sorry, Fleric, but
Yes.
it looks like it's going to happen.
Yeah,
But
I
you
think
might get
so.
Amanishiki coming back.
That's
Maybe.
possible.
I didn't quite pull the trigger. I think 9 and 6 at Juryo 4. That's a bit too much of a jump, but I could easily see Ishiura at 7 and 8 at the bottom of the rankings, dropping down into Juryo, and Amanishiki jumping up. But officially, I'm going to say that's not going to happen.
Yeah, if he does, I think he'll break another record for being the oldest jumping.
His own
back
record?
Yeah, his own record of being the oldest jumping back up to the Makuuchi
He just wants to pad his stats a little bit more on his way out here.
I think so. I think he realized that's how he's going to be remembered.
But yeah, I will go ahead and post my full Bonsuke prediction once again, see what people think, if I made any wrong moves. I think last time I actually did pretty well. I correctly predicted some pretty big jumps and had most everybody within a spot or two of their final places. So we'll see if I can do that well again. Probably not. Probably just beginner's luck last time, but I believe it is
A lot of luck, yeah.
Yeah. I believe it is time for the prediction series results, and so I will send it on over to Fleric to introduce our winner.
I believe.
Hey, I'm not making you sing the praises of Bush Light. Give me a little more credit and faith than that.
All right.
Well, that was the Bolo... No, it wasn't the Bolo punishments that decided that, because Fleric decided to forego that whole ceremony in the preview episode.
You speak like it wasn't something we talked about before.
It was, but it's still the whole ceremony and just kind of keeping that in-house.
We shall observe the ceremony next time.
Anyways, we have Yokozuna Mac, who is
There it is.
who is the winner again this time.
That's 2 in a row.
That
for
is
Matt.
2 in a row. That's a first for me.
Is that our first back-to-back
That is
winner?
our first
I think?
back-to-back.
Yeah, welcome to the 2-win club.
Woohoo!
Feels pretty good, doesn't it?
It does. It beats the 3 losing streak club that I set for myself.
And so, yeah,
Wait, does that mean
Fleric,
that
how does
there's-
it feel joining the 2-loss club?
Oh, it's terrible.
It's all right. It's all right. I have experience in that area.
So does that mean there's only been one basho since we started this podcast that Mac didn't win or lose it?
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sure
doing
sounds
okay.
like
I'm doing
it.
all right. I'm doing okay.
Yeah, because I had to call Jake Yokozuna Jake once, and that was the only time.
And I know that it absolutely killed you.
It was not a good time. But before we get to Fleric's punishment, we have to semi-punish Mac a little bit, because he had so much faith in his predictions that in the first week of the basho, he decided
2 days. 2 days in.
he decided, well, just in case, I better write a nursery rhyme. And so he's come up with the freaking epic over here. So I'll just let Mac take it away.
It's like a page long. Jeez.
I have gracious in victory and gracious in defeat, man. That's the way it is. You want me to do it right? Or you want me to do it wrong?
And I'm pretty sure we all assumed at the beginning of this it would just be like a parody of a nursery rhyme, like Hickory Dickory Dock or The Cow Jumped Over the Moon or something like that. Apparently, Mac has come up with his own original nursery rhyme. This should be interesting.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. Indeed,
But
you
Mac,
will.
take it away.
Papa Oyakata. Papa Oyakata sat on the floor, smiling at Rikshi bounding through the door. Huffing and buffing in from the dorm, they quickly made ready to practice their form. They pushed and they shoved throughout the ring as Papa Oyakata began to happily sing. My boys, work hard through the day. Be limber and strong as you stomp on the clay. Learn from your brothers as you briskly train and bring glory to your home with rising fame. Papa Oyakata, now pleased with their scraps, announced it was time for food and some naps. The Rikshi then bowed and ran from his sight as the sweet smells of supper wafted in with delight. With chonko and rice and soups to behold, the boys laughed and ate it all before it was cold. As soon as each Rikshi was promptly fed, with bellies now full, they drifted to bed. They climbed in their mats and snuggled up tight as Papa Oyakata bade them good night. Sleep well, my boys, you've nothing to fear, for Papa Oyakata is always here.
That was delightful.
That was.
I imagine that Oyakatas are going to be reading that to all their Rikshi the night before a basho begins.
'Twas the night before Basho.
Exactly, yeah. I'm pretty sure that is just going to be a new tradition at every stable in Japan.
We need to
now.
just like spam this to every Twitter account of sumo wrestlers.
I had fun writing it, I will admit. I'm like, this is just fun.
I bet you did, but I just love that you started writing that like after the first couple days. Just geez, I better get going now.
The odds were against me, and then all of a sudden, like, wait a minute, Hakuho dropped. Then Kakuryu dropped. Wait a minute, Abi, I got that? I predicted it? I got the tiebreaker?
Yeah, we remember that.
Okay.
yeah, we were there too.
Yeah.
And then Mitaki Yumi started winning. I'm like, okay, hold the phone here. But too late. By the time we hit our halfway episode, I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and say it because Mitaki Yumi, second half Basho Mitaki Yumi could appear, and I'm screwed anyway. But that didn't happen. Pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, so Mac had Mitakayumi winning the Basho. He had Mitakayumi winning a special prize. He had Abi getting a Kinboshi, and he had Koto Shogaku getting a Makikoshi. I think that's 4 points. I think that might be like a record for us.
I think it
4
ties.
points with
Yeah.
the tiebreaker, though.
With the tiebreaker. So yeah, Fleric, what did you get right?
I believe I got Onosho getting a Kachikoshi.
Go
Very
on.
nice.
What else?
I think that's actually it.
That was a period, not a comma.
Yeah. Surprise. Well, kind of surprised. Kakuryu and Goedo did not do as well this Basho as I was hoping.
Yeah.
So
No. Well,
you did
sad.
say it could bite you in the ass when you were making your prediction initially.
yeah, anything with the Goedo is pretty much getting
Yeah.
bit in the
Yeah.
ass.
So
now you have to follow Max, just
I-
delightful nursery rhyme.
I thought we got our delightful
No.
nursery rhyme already from Yokozuna Matt.
that was just a happy bonus for all the fans at home because
Like,
Mac
really happy.
clearly worked so hard and put so much love into it.
He's so good at losing. He should-
Yeah.
Hey, it has humbled me. It has made me think, you know what? The listeners, they deserve a good punishment.
yeah, or
They're
I
not
guess
gonna get from me.
celebratory.
Now, follow up.
Uh-oh, Fleric's going to lose. We might as well have somebody else do it good. Yeah.
There you go.
We'll just have Mac do everybody's punishment alongside of them so that he can show them how it was meant to be done.
This
Like
is
if
how
it-
you lose.
If anybody else had to come up with a song when he did Yusho Race,
That would have
one-
been awful.
It would have been just bad.
All right, Flair, take it away with all that wonderful buildup.
Okay, I definitely just did a parody, and it's called Little Rikshi. I'm a little Rikshi, short and stout, wearing my mawashi, heading to my bout, doing my shiko, stomping out my doubt, lost the tachiai, yori kiried out. I'm a clever Rikshi, training every day, eating my chanko, living the sumo way. There's another basho, I hope to win. At least I didn't lose fancy. Screw you, Ryan.
That's fair.
Well done, sir.
I mean, speaking of fantasy, let's just move right along.
Let's
I
not,
I
because
applaud you, Fleric. Well
Those
done.
were both just damn delightful.
They were.
Well done. Well done.
And as you will find out in the fantasy recap. I did not do well, but
You had a lot of bad luck.
I did. But fantasy doesn't come with a punishment, so I don't care.
All right, well, let's take a look at what we did. We had a guest, and in traditional guest tradition, they alternate between picking everyone who gets injured and alternating that with absolutely destroying us. The point we were at in the cycle, our guest, Brett, set a new record for the most points that you could get in a basho. So, we're on that side of the pendulum has swung that way for now. And he actually sent us a victory statement here. That is way too tiny on my screen.
I can
Hang
read it for
on.
you.
All right, go ahead, Ryan.
There you go.
It says, I'm satisfied with my particular brand of fantasy. Sorry, I read that wrong. I'm satisfied my particular brand of fantasy was able to get me the victory this basho. I took each pick seriously, one match at a time, and did my best. I have selected Mitake Yumi as my flag bearer for my Yusho parade. Thank you. Sincerely, your new Dai Fantasy Oyakata, Brett.
Very nice.
Sorry, Brett, I read that terribly.
Oh, well. But,
a great
I
speech
like how he
nonetheless.
picked someone for his Yusho parade.
Indeed.
yeah. That was awesome. That was exactly how I would expect the interview to go. But yeah, he did very, very well. Obviously, Mitakeumi got a ton of points for the Yusho, for the special prize, for all the wins. He also had Ichinojo and Chiyotairyu and Takanoiwa on his team, raking in some significant points. But yeah, more than 20 points behind him, we have second place. That's Mac.
The only other guy that had all of his people stay in the entirety of the
Indeed.
basho.
Yeah, and the rest of our teams were absolutely ravaged by injury. Fleric did slightly better than me. We were both in the low 40s here, and then Ryan bringing up the significant caboose here, 31.
Yeah. Nope, not good.
It was a rough one.
Significant.
I took a chance on Kodawako. Clearly a bad move. Not sad to see him go back down to Juryo. Screw you, Kodawako.
He's your nemesis now.
Yeah. And Shohozan, I was expecting better of him. He had gotten a couple of winning records facing the same guys, and so I'd expect better of him, especially when the Yokozuna were gone.
Yeah. Basically, everybody had their top pick, whether it was Kakuryu, Hakuho, Tochinoshin. Yeah, everybody's first round pick essentially went out. But yeah, it was rough. But Brett managed it, and like I said, absolutely crushed
Not
us.
even close.
So we do have a new contest for somebody to join us at the Aki Basho, and we want you to come up with your best fantasy team name for sumo. And so, there's a lot of very punny names when it comes to fantasy football team names. We're looking at something in that same vein. So whoever has the best fantasy sumo team name, you will join us, and you better use the name that you entered, or else what's the point?
Yeah, no, that'll be a good time, and we'll tweet that out as well, just to make sure everybody knows that's the context to join us.
And we've had a lot of fun with our fantasy team names. I think I've been the Gambarizers for a little while, and Ryan, you've been the
I've
Fat
been
Five
the
featuring
Fat Five,
Juryo.
and then when we added Juryo, is the Fat Five featuring Juryo.
Yeah, I think my favorite this time was by our guest, the Bea.
Bay,
Yes.
spelling,
Bay, yeah.
It was
Yeah,
actually
that was pretty good.
fantastic.
and Fleric going full meme on his. I don't even know how to describe his team name.
Give me your energy.
Yeah,
With whatever that little meme face is.
Yep.
I'm not internet enough to know what that's called. Does that have a name?
I'm not internet enough either.
Okay, fair enough.
you at least know how to make those characters, which is beyond me.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, but we did kind of jump a little bit out of order, so let's jump back and take a look at some fun facts.
All right, I found a couple for us this time. I was really curious about Juryo Yushos because I was scanning through like the list of all-time winners and whatnot, and basically, in Makuuchi, it's like Hakuho, number 38 or 39 or 40 or whatever, or Harumafuji, number 11 or 12 or something. And then you scan through Juryo, and it's like their first one ever. Because, if you're really, really good, you don't stay in Juryo forever, right? But I found a guy who won Juryo 5 times. That is the most since at least 1909 when they first started awarding the Yusho as an official award for who did the best. This would be Masurao. He was a Sekiwaki once for one basho, but otherwise had an up-and-down career in between Juryo and Makuuchi. But this was all back in the 1980s. Another interesting thing about him was he made it up to Juryo, And when he got there, he changed his name. A lot of people do this, like they'll enter sumo using some form of their birth name as their shikona, their ring name. And this guy, he changed it to something cool. He changed it to Masurao when he made it to Juryo. But then he dropped out of Juryo. So he changed his name back.
Oh.
Like punishing himself. He doesn't get the cool name anymore. And then when he made it back to Juryo the second time, then he took it again.
So he changed his name like 5-6 times?
He changed it 3 times.
Okay.
He changed it to something cool, then back, and then back to something cool.
right.
And then he retired with that name. So yeah, that's more than most people change their name, of course. But I just thought that was kind of cool.
Musashi Rao. I love it.
That's an
Masurao.
awesome name.
Masurao.
Masurao.
You added like
Okay.
2 syllables in there.
They were at least
got the
syllables
important
from
one,
other
right?
sumo names.
Yeah.
So there's that.
I got the
I
important
think you
one.
might be thinking Musashi Maru, maybe.
The other fun fact that I came across, I was kind of curious about all the injury pullouts for this basho. There were 7 people who did not finish the basho. I went back to the wild September 2017.
Doesn't seem as wild in retrospect
The
with this
infamous
one.
Aki.
There were 8 that time. 8 guys who had at least one absence on their record. So we did not even set the 1-year record here.
At least they had a Yokozuna.
That's true.
in
Yeah, that one there was a Yokozuna. Haruma Fuji, he lost a couple times at the beginning of the basho, so we kind of assumed that he was going to either pull out or not be in the discussion, but he managed to win out for pretty
As
much the whole
Goedo
second week.
Goedo'd.
Yep, and that was kind of the birth of the Goedo, second week Goedo meme here. So, yeah, playoff, and Haruma Fuji won that with, if I remember right, he won that with an 11-4, right?
Yep.
And that was like the lowest ever Yusho
Yep.
total
For a Yokozuna.
for a Yokozuna.
Yes.
Very cool. Flaric, I believe you have a fun fact for us too?
Yeah. So on the stats, I did some. I think there was someone. Someone on the internet kind of pointed me to this, but on the Sekiwakis who have a 13-2 record, there have been 34 Rikishi in history who've had that, and all but 3 of them, they actually ended up getting the Ozeki rank in the next 2 bashos after a 13.
Oh,
Very
wow.
cool. 31 out of 34 of those guys got their Ozeki rank after that.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we know Tochinoshin, he just had 13 in the last one.
Tochino. Yeah. That right.
He
You are.
did.
He is on. Did he get 13 too?
Yep, he was 13 and
But
2.
not from a Sekiwaki rank. I don't think
He
so.
was Sekiwake in the last basho.
Let's look. This
Yeah,
thing
this
up.
was his first one as an Ozeki. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, before that he was Sekiwaka, wasn't
keep talking
While
a
that-
little bit while we're
exactly.
loading the stats. Come on, you can do it,
So
computer.
in January, he was Maegashira, won the Yusho. Then he jumped up to Sekiwake, was Sekiwake for 2 bashos, and then he jumped up to Ozeki this past basho.
he? That makes
Yeah.
sense.
So he was 14-1, 10-5, 13-2. I don't even need to look at the stats.
Oh well, yeah. I was just gonna look.
Yeah.
Do you have the names of the 3 who didn't make it? Because I think I might know one of them.
I got Mitsu Neyama in 1951. But he got the 2 years later he ended up getting the Ozeki promotion. Actually,
He just didn't get it then.
he doesn't get all 3 of these people. They eventually got the Ozeki promotion.
Oh,
So
yeah.
everybody who's had a 13-2 record as a Sekiwake has advanced to Ozeki.
Yes, and the vast majority of them in the next 2 bashos.
Okay.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if one of those was Takamiyama, the Hawaiian from the 60s and 70s, but he
he-
must not have gotten that 13 wins. Maybe he got 12 when he won a Yusho.
Yeah, he's not on my
Because
list.
he never made it to Ozeki, though.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But yeah, I thought that's pretty cool. So, like, as you know, stats are what actually causes the future to happen.
Exactly.
So Mitakayumi is actually destined to become
Past
Ozeki
performance is
by
best
Aki,
indicator of future performance.
for sure.
I like it.
Fact.
Boom.
Fun fact.
Fact, and it was fun. Yeah, exactly.
All right, and then jumping back ahead to Jake with the ELO rankings.
You know, the listeners don't have our outline. They don't know that we're out of order. We can just do whatever we
They-
want, right?
The only way they know it is if you call us out on it.
I don't care.
Yeah, so our ELO power rankings, just a quick update on those where everybody finished up the basho. This is a totally, I mean, I can call it scientific because there's math involved, right?
More arbitrary.
Yeah, but this is a ranking where we determine how well everybody is doing. It's more of like who's on hot streaks and whatnot, not necessarily saying who is the best or anything like that. But about 1,000 points is an average Rikishi in the top division. 1,100 is the elite, and 900 is like the guys who are bound for Juryo. So at the very top, obviously Mitakayumi was one of the big winners of this particular basho. He got all the way up to 1094. He is just a tiny, tiny touch behind Tochinoshin and Kakuryu. Those Tochinoshin and Kakuryu are still at the top because once they pull out, they're not losing anymore. So, they're not dropping down the rankings. But yeah, those Mitakeumi has moved into a solid third place there, which is pretty impressive. But he was not the biggest winner of the Basho. Yutakiyama and Onosho both gained more points than he did, and that's because those guys were underdogs more often. If you win as an underdog, that's going to be more valuable than winning as a huge favorite. So those guys earned a lot of points. Our biggest droppers were not too big of a surprise here, Yoshikaze and Sho Hozan. Yoshikaze, his rating is now below 900, so we might expect him to be in the discussion to drop to Juryo, but it looks like the way the Bansuke is shaking out, that's not very likely.
I think he was high enough at Maegashira 5 that's
right.
just way too far.
He'll be low.
Yep,
But
he'll be low, but his ranking is about on par with somebody who'd be in danger of going down to Juryo.
Yep.
But that's all I got, and now I believe it's time for the GSB Awards.
Indeed it is. We've come to that wonderful time again where we hand out some notable nominations from different categories. Our first one is the Fat Man Flying Award, and this one goes to Oyama, who you have to wonder, does he have a secret crush on Superman? You don't know. He might want to be the Man of Steel. He's certainly a man of definite girth and size, but
He is made of things that are significantly less sturdy than steel.
indeed. But on day 7, Ishiura said, "I will help you be Superman," and hankered like a champ. Oyama didn't see it, and this beautiful flying form of Oyama coming out
How did
as
he
he
not-
smashed into the clay.
How did he not see it?
I don't know. He's big enough. He should have, but both arms were forward, legs were straight back. It was the perfect rendition of Superman.
And
I
you
thoroughly
can't
enjoyed
even
it.
you can't blame Ishiura for that one at all. That one is all on Aoyama. What are you thinking?
Aoyama could easily pick up Ishiura and eat him in one whole bite.
Definitely.
I think that was definitely a worthy award winner. I think another one that was in the discussion here was when Koto Shogoku went out and
Killed that old lady.
murdered a whole section of the crowd.
Yeah, look for some lawsuits later on that one. Next up, we have the Ouch Award, and it was difficult to pin down which one was deserving of this, and then I decided, you know what? This is going to be shared. This is a 3-way tie between Chiyo Kuni, Koto Shogoku, and Tochinoshin.
Tamawashi Memorial
Yep, the
Award.
Tamawashi Memorial. But the reason Chiyo Kuni is going to stand out a little bit more because we saw the elbow. We saw the elbow snap. We saw him instantly crumble. He was visibly in pain. Oh, that had to hurt.
Yeah.
We really didn't see the Hakuho and Kakuryu injuries. How do we know that Tamawashi didn't hire somebody to take them out before Tamawashi had to face them?
Are
You think he
referring-
might have Nancy Kerrigan the thing?
That's what I'm thinking.
Had somebody go and attack their elbows while they weren't looking?
Exactly. It just seems a little too suspicious that Hakuho had some trip or something in the dressing room and suddenly couldn't compete. That's
think
too
I-
convenient.
I think I got that wrong. Wasn't Kerrigan the one who
Yeah,
got
Kerrigan got hit.
Yeah,
You're
Tanya
thinking
Harding.
Tanya Harding. That's what I was going
Harding.
for. Just pretend I said that. It makes it make more sense.
All right.
It's okay, Jake. Next up, we have the Robbed Award. Now, this has kind of been the theme of this whole recap episode. Probably saw it coming. Mitakeyumi, day 12, robbed against Takayasu. Takayasu's toe, definitely out. The Shimpan overturned. The Goombay, and even the Goombay was like, him. No, wait, no. No, Mitakeyumi definitely won. Didn't even get a redo. There's some scandal going on here.
Yeah, and I
Shame.
think Flerick was telling us, or I might have read it on Reddit once again and just randomly attributed it to Flerick. But
I'm sure he's not going to argue
the
here.
indecision of the Gyoji with which direction he was pointing the Goombay is very, very much frowned upon and will reflect poorly upon him.
Yeah, there's a vacancy in the top 2 ranks of Gyoji right now. Since I think it was Shikamori Inosuke retired for that scandal he had. So it's kind of like all the Gyoji are kind of trying, hopefully, to do good Gyojing for the most part.
Good reference.
Yeah,
Good
Gyoji
reffing.
good.
Yeah. You will want a good record, and one of the things that Gyoji do is they need to be decisive with the win after each bout, even if it's really, really close. They still have to pick a winner from there. So it was kind of really bad that he kind of went back and forth, and in the end, they actually got it wrong. So it did not look too well.
Technically wrong.
He went, but I guess it went wrong
Yeah,
with
you know
what
what we mean.
Yeah.
with what the Shippan determined was the winner. He actually was against. He went the wrong way, what they determined what the actual outcome was.
Right.
So it was just not good for Gyojin. He's probably not looking too good.
No, it was just not his day. And speaking of not his day, the next up is Not Today Award, where we had victory taken away from the jaws of defeat, and that goes to Goedo on day 9 with an impressive Uwatenage at the edge of the ring. He'd been manhandled, pushed out, and then he goes, nope, just sidesteps and throws his opponent out.
And that was
thought it
against
beautiful.
Kagayaki on day 9.
That was a great match.
Yeah, it was. One of our contenders for Match of the Basho.
Well, spoilers.
That's what I said. We're getting there. We're getting there. Next up, we have the Y Award. Now, there were a couple other things that we could have chosen. Could have been Mitaki Yumi versus Takayasu. Could have been Tamawashi with all his Kotenage. But this one, we're going with Yoshikaze. We know the man has the talent. We know he has the tenure to do well. It just didn't happen, but there was no indication of injury. There might have been rumors, but nothing official came out. There were no official statements from Nagoya Kata, so I have to ask, why? Why? Where did the 2-13 come from?
Yeah, I agree. He definitely looked off. On the whole official statement thing, there was something that popped up like right at the last day or so. It sounded like he was dealing with an injury, and he actually asked his Orikata not to actually say anything to anyone. So he was kind of keeping it under wraps, and you can kind of tell he was not the person he used to
And
be.
everybody knew because they were taking very special care to not let Yoshikaze fly off the dohyo or fall off the dohyo, period, once they pushed him out.
I think that was kind of cool, though. That was, that it's a very cutthroat sport. It's zero sum. You either win or you lose. But I do think that it was kind of nice that they were being gentle to a guy who's...
And we know he's a very popular...
Yeah, but he is older. He's like 35-ish or something like that. But he's clearly respected. He's clearly admired, and people were going easy on him when they could.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have the No Pain, No Gain Award. This one goes to Takayasu. We saw him in pain since the beginning of the Basho. We know he pulled out in the last Basho, definitely dealing with some injuries, but he fought through them, Mitaki Yumi match aside, and got his Kachikoshi. So I applaud him for his effort, for sticking to his guns and actually avoiding another round of Katoban and losing his Ozeki status.
Well, he was Katoban, right?
Yeah, he was Katoban,
but he avoided the ramifications of
right.
Ozekiwake,
Ozekiwake,
I
yeah.
think
There it
is
is.
the term that I've heard.
Yeah.
Kind of like that one.
Yeah, I was surprised he stuck out after he got his 8th win.
I was expecting
him to drop too.
Yeah.
But he kept going. He kept fighting. He may not have been his best sumo, but he stuck it out. So for that, I applaud him.
Last day, he looked a little bit silly against Goedo.
Yeah, that was bad.
Oh, well.
Then we have the Match of the Basho. We are actually split in our decision for this one. We have on day 3 Takayasu versus Chiyonokuni, showing some amazing flexibility with those splits.
Yeah.
And then we have Mitaki Yumi versus Yutakayama on day 15. Both Rikishi showing excellent sumo, giving it everything they got. Mitaki Yumi trying to close out his Yusho in, and Yutakayama saying, nope, I'm not going down without a fight.
Making sure to get the most out of that, that spotlight match that
Absolutely.
he had.
Yeah, the end of the day. Yeah, that was a fantastic match.
That was. I mean, they both were.
I absolutely loved the Mitaki Yumi versus Yutakayama. It felt like almost like Ozeki or Yokozuna level of just going off the track. They were very evenly matched, and it was. I loved the whole Mitaki Yumi. He was circling the dohyo the whole entire time.
Oh yeah,
and
that's how you pull. That like Kakuryu and
that's how you pull.
We've seen a lot of times that Kakuryu goes for pulling and he goes backwards, as opposed to Mitaki Yumi circling. It's, I bring up like boxing and MMA all the time, don't I?
It's almost like it's your favorite
It's
sport.
almost like it's my other favorite sport. Yeah, but like in those where there's ropes or a cage or whatever, so if you go straight back, you get trapped there as opposed to getting pushed out and you lose, whatever. But either way, the idea is the same. You got to circle. You can't just move straight backwards because then you're toast. And Kakuryu, a lot of the times, he'll move straight backwards. And maybe when he starts feeling the Tawada at the end, he starts to like, oh crap, I should have done something different, and then he gets pushed out. But yeah, I think it was an excellent way to prove or to showcase that pulling technique is still technique. It's not a last ditch.
I'm flying out of the ring. I'm going to try.
I might as well try and
first.
pull. Yeah. No, this was Mitaki Yumi using it well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the match that kind of really cemented that I think he has a good chance going into Aki of getting that Ozeki status because that was some fantastic sumo.
It's just like Tochinoshin's run. Like if he stays healthy, he will get it.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time and health.
Mm-hmm. And we did actually have one more award. It's the Holy Cow, I'm Getting Married in 5 Days award, and I have to do one more wedding quiz.
Oh, come on.
You did not think you're getting out of this, Mac, did you?
I went through the assault, the Conquer the Gauntlet yesterday. Come on. Do I have to do more painful things today?
Yes. And this one,
Those weren't mentally painful, so
Yeah.
we have to get that out
Well,
of
a
the way
couple
too.
of them were.
and that wasn't fun for me because I didn't get to watch you suffer because I didn't participate. This one will be. All right, this
man.
one will focus on celebrity marriages.
What?
Your expertise, right?
Yes.
Of course.
So we all know that celebrity marriages oftentimes don't last very long.
Do they?
And each of the following celebrity marriages lasted 3 weeks or less.
Oh, jeez.
But can you tell me which one didn't even last 3 days? Was it Carmen Electra and Dennis Rodman? Was it Eddie Murphy and Tracy Edmonds? Was it Drew Barrymore and Jeremy Thomas? Or was it Britney Spears and Jason Alexander? Not from Seinfeld.
Drew Barrymore.
That is incorrect.
Oh.
She was actually married the longest out of these four, 19 days.
Wow.
Holy smokes.
Britney Spears and Jason Alexander were married for 56 hours before they got it annulled.
See, I could not think of Jason Alexander from Seinfeld. So as soon as you said that, I'm thinking, she didn't marry George. What the heck?
Maybe she thought she was marrying Jason Alexander from Seinfeld.
Hey, this guy's
Just,
funny.
Wait a second.
This guy's not nearly funny
The
enough.
balding grumbler. All right.
I'll give this 56 hours and think about it. That's hilarious. I love the Carmen Electra Dennis Rodman one. I didn't even know about that. But if you had,
6 days.
I thought that was a joke.
I thought it was like, I'm going to pick 2 random celebrities from the 90s
That's
and see
what
if I can
was
slide
thinking.
this
So I thought,
past
hang
everyone.
on, no way.
No, that one's pretty famous because Dennis Rodman wore the wedding dress for
Oh,
that.
that's when he wore the wedding? I didn't realize it was... Okay, all right,
Yep.
all right, continue. I've seen
Oh,
it.
now I would have gotten that question
Oh,
right.
damn it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
No,
that wasn't
no.
the correct answer, so no. But so along with those short marriages, there's going to be a lot more marriages in Hollywood, and holy crap, my document has just crashed on me.
See, this-
so
this is
give
your
me
punishment.
a couple of moments as I stall and get this pulled back up. And during
You're doing
the
a great job.
stalling, I'm just going to keep rambling on as if nothing really happened.
Why don't we let
And I'm
Mac
just-
talk about his wedding real quick?
No, because I got it pulled up.
Oh, okay,
So-
never mind then.
all of these classic starlets have walked down the aisle at least 6 times.
6?
But which one has walked down a total of 9 times?
9?
So your choices are Rue McClanahan of Golden Girls fame, Zsa Zsa Gabor, who was in the original Moulin Rouge.
These are made up names.
I don't believe
I
these.
did say classic starlet. We have Elizabeth Taylor from Cleopatra, or Lana Turner from The Postman Always Rings Twice. Which one has walked down the aisle a total of 9 times?
Elizabeth Turner.
That is not an option. Elizabeth Taylor was.
Taylor.
But the correct answer is Zsa Zsa Gabor.
You're making these names up.
I know I've heard that name.
She is like one of the original like current day celebrities. You think of like Kim Kardashian. She's like Kim Kardashian like 50 years
Like
ago.
the people that are famous just because they're famous?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Why did I just say Keira Knightley's character from Pirates of the Caribbean? I said Elizabeth Turner. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I know where that name came from.
So
She's hot. I like
one
her.
was Elizabeth Taylor and then another was Lana Turner.
Okay, so I combined them into someone I do know and I
Yes.
think is attractive. All right, my mind works.
All right.
But we're not talking about Pirates of the Caribbean.
No, let's talk about Pirates of the Caribbean.
No, you're not done
no,
with this. You're not done yet.
All right. These last 3 questions will test your knowledge of celebrity super couples nicknames.
Oh, God.
This first one, if you don't get this first one, I will be surprised. But I will be a little bit
Life
happy
is full
for
of
you, though.
surprises.
So, name the 2 celebrities that comprise the super couple Brangelina.
Oh, come on. How do you not know that?
Well, who is it then?
Yeah.
He says as he stalls for time.
No, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.
All right, you get one correct. See, I knew you had it in you. All right, name the 2 celebrities that comprise the super couple Robston.
Robston?
I will even give you a hint. Twilight.
I don't know his first, but so Kristen Stewart and Robert Patterson.
Let's give him that one.
You.
Yeah.
I'll give to you.
I
Robert
don't-
Pattinson.
I never saw any of the Twilight movies, so I
Yes,
got nothing.
Robston is Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart.
I would not have gotten it without Twilight. I'm like, I don't know.
All right, and give me the nickname for these former super couple, Crazy Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes.
I don't even remember if they had one.
Did they?
They did?
Yeah,
Huh.
it's a good one too.
The Holmeses?
Tomcat.
Oh, because he flew a Tomcat in Top Gun. That's right.
That's good.
Yeah.
Dang.
All right, so Mac got 2 out of
I got
5.
2. Yay!
Which is better than last time, and salvage his dignity maybe a
I
tiny
didn't.
shred.
But how do you? A best man is supposed to. You best man with a sword to chase after your bride and kill the bride's family if they don't consent to the marriage.
Really wasn't a good institution hundreds of years ago.
Wow.
I think we did great though. Those were some good quizzes. The first one we went too easy on them. The second one the pendulum swung too far.
What do you mean went too easy on me? It wasn't my fault. I knew all the songs.
Yes, it is.
It was exactly that. But then this third one, I think that was
Nice
well
happy
done.
medium.
Nice happy medium.
All right. So let's move on to everybody's favorite moment of the Basho, or just favorite thing about this Basho. And because we were just picking on him, and he has a wedding in literally 5 days, we'll start with Mac.
Are you freaking out?
No.
You're freaking out. You're freaking out, aren't you?
Freaking out. I don't know what I'm doing.
He's taking us all to the horrid land of Wisconsin.
Okay, now let's be fair. I am not taking
That's
us
true.
anywhere.
It's your bride's
It is
fault
my
we're going to
bride's fault because
Wisconsin.
I said, "Where do you want to have the wedding?" I want to have it in Wisconsin.
Just a special note: if any of our listeners are from Wisconsin,
Screw you.
because it's the worst state, and your football team can just rot in
Well,
hell.
no, it's the second worst state. Nebraska can suck it even harder than Wisconsin.
They have
yeah,
pretty good beer in the Ultimate Frisbee team. I'm just saying.
And the
I'm
wedding
pretty
reception
pro-Wisconsin.
is at a brewery?
It is near a brewery.
It's in yeah.
We will find Flerick at the brewery.
C.
See,
Anyway, favorite moment of the Basho was
Oh, yeah.
seeing Mitake Yumi clinching his first Yusho and actually fighting through not only Kaisei, who he had a losing record against, but Goedo, who, again, was the only one currently participating, after all the injuries, that has won a Yusho before and actually stood a chance of upsetting Mitake Yumi's run. So I was thoroughly impressed with his performance on this one and love the fact that he just upset everything.
I would second that one with Mitakumi win the Yusho is my favorite. It had everything I want. After the match, he hugged his Subiko or whoever his kind of attendant guy is. He had some man tears in the interview. He beat his Hakuho and beating Kaisei, I think, sometime in the day 13 or day 12. It was fantastic. I loved it.
yeah, for me, I definitely also go with Mitake Yumi, but I think as a more general version of that, just young guys in general doing really well. I think we're in a period of pretty significant generational turnover. All the Yokozuna and I think all the Ozeki are 30. How old is Tochinoshin?
He's 30 or 31.
He's not a young guy anymore. I mean, he's definitely at his prime towards the end of it, maybe. But either way, like all the top guys are getting up there, and we definitely have a strong generation coming in.
Yeah.
Mitake Yumi and guys that we don't talk about often enough, the two Yamas there, Asano Yama and Yutaki Yama, those guys definitely proving that they belong in that conversation. So we have like a whole 10 guys that are all in their early 20s here who are already at good form. So we've got like another 8 to 10 years of that generation just kicking ass.
I mean, 6, but 10's close enough, I guess. My
There's more than 6. Wait, who are you talking about?
just the guys that I highlighted, the young guys.
Oh yeah, the guys that we always call like the tadpoles.
tadpoles,
Mitake Yumi, Takakeisho, Onosho,
Hokuto
Asanoyama.
Fuji, Asanoyama, Yutakayama. Those
I also would lump in Abi with that group, that young generation.
Yep.
And there's a couple guys in Juryo and guys just blasting their way up through the lower divisions that I think are going to be pretty impressive too.
Yeah. All right. My favorite moment had to be on day 14, Ryuden versus Sada no Umi, when Ryuden got his Kachikoshi, guaranteeing that I would not lose the prediction series.
Little favoritism there, Ryan.
No, actually, my favorite thing, piggyback off of what Jake said, I loved seeing all the young guys because these are kind of the guys that really got started in the upper division when we started watching. So I feel a little bit
They're our
closer.
boys.
Yeah, they're our boys. And mostly for me, Hokuto Fuji. Seeing him back in form, getting that 11-4 record. But these are the guys that I'm going to feel a lot more connection with watching throughout their careers than somebody like Hakuho, Kakuryu, Kisei no Sato that have gotten a lot of their success before we started watching, so you just don't feel as connected to it. Tochinoshin's a little different because we saw his great rise happen in real time, and we were able to cover that, so that's been really fun.
Mitake Yumi in particular is one guy that I feel a strong connection to because of the very first Basha that I watched. It was his. I can't remember if it was his Makuuchi debut or if it was just right after that, but he was the first guy I saw who didn't have the full Chonmage haircut yet. His hair was still too short to do the proper haircut.
Much
and
like
he was,
Asanoyama in his first Makuuchi.
did he have that
basho.
too? Yeah. But like he had rocketed up the rankings so much. That was kind of, I'm pretty sure that haircut was like my first real rabbit hole that I got lost in on Wikipedia trying to figure out why does this guy have a different haircut? And it's like, oh, he's really good. And he's still, his hair isn't long enough yet because he got up there too fast.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely the rise of the young guns. And I think that we're going to have not as good of a tournament in Aki for all of them. It's going to be hard for each one of those guys to get double-digit wins again, but it probably won't be the last time. But that is going to wrap up our Nagoya 2018 review. If you enjoy this podcast, you can rate us on Apple Podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review. That would be greatly appreciated. Or any of your other favorite podcast listening services.
You can find us on Twitter and Facebook at Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Check out our blog, grandsumobreakdown.wordpress.com, for fantasy and power rankings and other goodies.
If you have any questions, comments, or corrections, drop us a line at grandsumobreakdown@gmail.com or give us a call at 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO.
All right, we'll have a couple of bonus episodes in between now and Aki. We promise this time. We swear.
Yes.
But until our preview for Aki 2018, we will see you later. Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Until next time.
Throw your salt high.
And keep moving forward.